She's so sweet, so nice. It's nice to kind of get to spend some time with her. We've messaged a little on Instagram beforehand, but to get to spend some time with her and to see the influence that she has on people, bring people out here, and to see how amazing an influence she is just for sports was really cool to see firsthand.
She exploded onto the scene like a supernova, shattering records and rewriting the history books before her first season was even over. Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she electrified it. Arenas that were once half empty were suddenly sold out, with fans paying hundreds of dollars just to catch a glimpse of her magic. Television ratings skyrocketed, shattering decades-old viewership records. She was a generational talent, a marketing goldmine dropped right into the league's lap.
And now, as an amateur golfer, Caitlin Clark is changing the way that people think about women golfers.
But as her rookie year reached its climax, a strange and unsettling narrative began to emerge. While Caitlin Clark was single-handedly bringing more eyes to women's basketball than ever before, the league itself seemed almost hesitant to embrace her. A quiet frustration began to simmer among her millions of fans. They watched as she received what many called a shocking lack of recognition from the very organization she was lifting to new heights. But what they would witness next, in a completely different sport altogether, would expose this growing divide for the entire world to see, and would leave everyone asking one burning question: why was the WNBA fumbling its most valuable player? Stick around, because the story of what's really happening behind the scenes is about to be exposed.
LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did.
The evidence of this disconnect started piling up almost immediately, creating a chasm between fan expectation and league action that seemed to widen with every broken record. After a historic rookie season where she averaged 19 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds, becoming the only player in league history to hit over 100 three-pointers and 300 assists, the moment of celebration felt strangely hollow, almost like an afterthought. The announcement of her Rookie of the Year award, an achievement that should have been a massive promotional event for the entire league, was made not on a gleaming court surrounded by media flashbulbs and roaring fans, but in a vacant, silent gym. The setting was shockingly austere. There was no grand ceremony, no live broadcast to honor the league's new superstar, no montage of her incredible highlights set to inspiring music. It was a quiet, almost administrative affair, the kind of presentation you might expect for an internal Employee of the Month award, not for a generational talent who had just moved the needle for an entire sport. For fans, this was the first major red flag, a visual representation of a deeper problem. It wasn't just a missed opportunity. It felt like a deliberate downplaying of her success, a refusal to acknowledge that she was different, that she was special.
You pick up little pointers here and there, and to me, that's inspirational. Whether it, just listening to Caitlin, her work ethic, it was important to her. And I mean, she's just starting, her round of golf, if her journey. She's just teed off on hole 1 or 2. I've made the turn already.
Social media erupted with criticism, with clips of the empty gym presentation going viral for all the wrong reasons. One viral tweet perfectly captured the mood, stating, "The WNBA is acting like Caitlin Clark is just another player, when she's clearly the entire game." This was the beginning of a glaring contradiction that everyone could see, a league being carried by a star it seemed reluctant to crown. The moment was supposed to be a coronation. Instead, it felt like a dismissal, leaving supporters to wonder if the league truly understood the value of the asset it possessed or if internal politics were preventing them from celebrating her properly. This single event became a powerful symbol, a story told not in words, but in the stark emptiness of a room that should have been filled with applause. Now, let's jump to a sun-drenched golf course of the LPGA's Annika Pro-Am, where the atmosphere couldn't have been more different. While the WNBA was presenting awards in empty rooms, a different women's sports league was rolling out the red carpet in a stunning display of strategic savvy. The LPGA didn't just invite Caitlin Clark to play. They built the entire event around her star power, understanding that her presence was a tidal wave of attention they could ride to new heights.
Come say hi. I need to introduce myself. I play out here on tour. I'm Maria. Thank you for being out here. It's very cool what you're doing for sports, kicking ass on and off the field. But now,
and here's the Caitlin Clark effect, Morgan, with Maria Fossey and other players out here following.
That's good. A lot of fun. Made it easy. Annika, could I steal you for a second? I don't think I'll have bigger I can't say bad stuff on TV, but badasses once together. We're doing a fun like quickie on that side. There we go. Yeah. I'm next. Yes. 1, 2, 3.
In a move of pure marketing genius, they pair her with Nelly Korda, the #1 ranked female golfer in the entire world. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a strategic masterstroke that created an irresistible storyline, pitting the queen of the court with the queen of the course. The LPGA ensured Caitlin received VIP treatment from the moment she arrived, seamlessly integrating her into their world. They adjusted the Golf Channel's broadcast schedule to provide live coverage of her round, something almost unheard of for a Pro-Am event, ensuring her millions of fans could follow her every move. Social media was flooded with clips and highlights of her every swing, from powerful drives to delicate putts, all framed as must-see television. The message was clear and unequivocal. Caitlin Clark was a headline attraction, a main event.
I said it, the buzz from the players.
I'm distracting you.
No,
y'all are trying to get
has
finished.
been huge.
Somebody take this picture.
By the way, Allie, an outstanding
let's do
point
it.
guard in her own right in Fulton, Mississippi. All state
Thanks for being here. Yeah. Good luck.
in that sport as well.
And the biggest stars in golf were her biggest cheerleaders, offering public endorsements that felt genuine and enthusiastic. Nelly Korda herself gushed, "I didn't watch basketball before Caitlin. She's phenomenal," a statement that spoke volumes about Clark's crossover appeal. Tournament host and legend Annika Sörenstam called her an inspiration for every woman's sport, framing her impact in the broadest, most meaningful terms.
Getting to be with, two of the best to, probably ever play this game. It's super fun and special for me. Like, I'm a fan of both of them, but a fan of, all the women on this tour. I think it's absolutely incredible. So it's special for myself.
The LPGA was doing more than just welcoming an athlete. They were celebrating a cultural phenomenon. And in doing so, they were brilliantly introducing their own stars and their sport to a massive, brand new audience. They saw the bigger picture, recognizing that a rising tide lifts all boats, and they had just welcomed the biggest tide in women's sports. Back in the world of basketball, the glowing reports from the golf course were not being met with applause, but with what insiders described as a growing sense of fury and frustration within the WNBA's headquarters. But the anger, curiously, wasn't directed at Caitlin for participating. Instead, league officials were reportedly fuming that the LPGA had so effectively and publicly showcased what they themselves had failed to do, holding up a mirror to their own promotional shortcomings. So, what was fueling this internal resentment? Speculation from sports analysts and insiders points to a deep-seated conflict within the league's culture, a struggle between old-school team-first ideologies and the modern reality of star-driven economics. Some sources suggest that certain veteran players felt eclipsed by the overwhelming media and fan focus on a rookie, leading to a subtle but significant pressure on the league to promote the collective over any one individual. This created an environment where highlighting Clark too much was perceived as disrespecting the established veterans who had built the league. Others placed the blame squarely on the shoulders of the leadership, accusing them of a catastrophic failure in marketing vision and a fundamental lack of agility. The league's commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, has often spoken about the need to balance stories and avoid putting a single player on a pedestal, a philosophy rooted in an egalitarian view of team sports. But while this philosophy aims for unity and internal harmony, it completely ignores a fundamental, time-tested rule of sports entertainment. Transcendent superstars are what drive interest, revenue, and cultural relevance. They are the entry point for casual fans who then learn to love the rest of the league. The WNBA, it seemed, was so afraid of upsetting its internal ecosystem or being accused of favoritism that it was willing to let its golden goose fly away. Or worse, watch another league build a golden cage for her. This brings us to the core of the conflict, a stark clash of philosophies that represents two very different paths for the future of women's sports. On one side, you have the LPGA, which saw Caitlin Clark not merely as a basketball player, but as a crossover tidal wave of attention, a cultural force that transcended her primary sport. They understood on an instinctual level that her presence could bring millions of basketball fans to the golf course, and that once there, these new viewers would be introduced to the incredible talents of stars like Nelly Korda and Annika Sörenstam. They capitalized on her moment with precision and confidence, and in doing so, elevated the profile of their entire sport. It was a bold, confident, and opportunistic strategy that screamed, "We are ready for our moment." On the other side, the WNBA appears trapped in a timid, outdated mindset, seemingly paralyzed by the very stardom they helped create. Their approach seems to be one of caution and control, seemingly afraid of the raw, market-disrupting power that Caitlyn possesses. Instead of building a bigger platform for everyone around their undeniable superstar, they seem to be trying to fit her into a pre-existing, smaller box, asking her to conform to a system that cannot contain her impact. This isn't just about a poorly staged trophy presentation. It's about a fundamental misunderstanding of how modern sports leagues grow and capture the public's imagination. The NBA never shied away from promoting Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Steph Curry. They understood that those individual stars became the league's identity, and their success and fame meant success and visibility for every other player and team. The WNBA's refusal to apply the same proven playbook with Caitlin Clark isn't just confusing to outside observers. It's a strategic blunder of monumental proportions that could have long-term consequences for their growth and cultural footprint. And the cost of this blunder is not just philosophical, it's financial, with real-world implications for every player and owner in the league. Let's talk numbers and the direct economic impact. Caitlin Clark's arrival caused a seismic shift in the WNBA's economy, creating financial windfalls that were previously unimaginable. Indiana Fever jersey sales exploded, becoming the top seller across the entire league almost overnight, outselling established veterans by a huge margin. Ticket prices for their game skyrocketed, with some seats on the secondary market seeing a 500% increase, and road games suddenly became must-see events, selling out arenas across the country. The league's media deals and television negotiations suddenly became exponentially more valuable because broadcasters and partners knew she was a guaranteed ratings magnet, a player who could draw viewers who had never watched a women's game before. She is, without exaggeration, a one-woman economic stimulus package for the sport. Yet, by refusing to fully lean into her stardom and build marketing campaigns around her, the WNBA is leaving an unimaginable amount of money on the table. Major corporate sponsorships, global branding opportunities, and new fan engagement initiatives are all being squandered due to this hesitation. Every time they present a Rookie of the Year award in a deserted gym, or downplay her achievements, they are sending a subconscious message to potential corporate partners that they don't fully value their own product's biggest draw, making those partners question the league's confidence in its own stars. Meanwhile, the LPGA is reaping the rewards, enjoying a surge of new attention, credibility, and undoubtedly future sponsorship interest thanks to their willingness to embrace her influence and boldly showcase her to the world. What makes the situation even more profound is that Caitlyn's impact stretches far beyond the hardwood or the fairway. She has effectively become a living, breathing symbol for the entire movement of women's sports, a catalyst for a cultural shift that has been decades in the making. Her participation in events like the Women's Leadership Summit, where she speaks with a grounded passion about empowering the next generation, shows an athlete who possesses a rare and mature understanding of the platform she has been given. She isn't just a basketball player who showed up to play golf. She's a multi-sport ambassador who actively works to unite different fan bases under the universal banner of athletic excellence and opportunity. This is a role that transcends statistics and trophy ceremonies. It's about being a visible, powerful representation of what happens when talent meets opportunity, and she carries that mantle with a sense of responsibility that resonates with fans of all ages and genders. The LPGA, with sharp instinct, recognized this larger cultural role and not only celebrated it, but actively partnered with it. They saw her not as a visitor from another sport, but as a beacon for what the entire ecosystem of women's athletics can achieve when it finally commands the spotlight it deserves. They understood that her presence was a key that could unlock doors for everyone, creating a halo effect of attention that benefits all female athletes. It was a display of inter-sport solidarity that viewers found refreshing and inspiring. The WNBA, by contrast, appears to be trapped in a much narrower, almost outdated perspective, treating her as just a rookie who happens to be exceptionally good at shooting threes, a remarkable talent to be managed rather than a paradigm-shifting phenomenon to be unleashed. This failure to see the bigger picture, to comprehend that they have a once-in-a-lifetime icon on their roster whose appeal could redefine the league's place in the mainstream, is perhaps the most damning aspect of this entire saga. They are, as the saying goes, missing the forest for the trees, becoming so preoccupied with internal politics, perceived equity, and maintaining a specific, controlled narrative that they are failing to see the revolution is happening right outside their door. This isn't just about marketing one player. It's about seizing a historic moment to cement the commercial viability and cultural permanence of women's professional basketball. History shows us that leagues are often defined by their transcendent stars. Figures have become so big they are synonymous with the sport itself. This Michael Jordan effect doesn't diminish the league. It provides a foundation upon which everything else is built, creating a rising tide that lifts all boats. By not fully embracing this, the WNBA isn't just making a tactical error. It's risking a historical misstep. The frustration for fans isn't just about a poorly staged award ceremony. It's a terrifying thought that this golden opportunity, this massive influx of energy and interest, could be wasted, and that the league might retreat back into a niche status, wondering what could have been. The LPGA, in its brilliant maneuvering, has shown them the blueprint for success. The question now is whether the WNBA has the vision and the courage to finally read it. So where does this leave us? The LPGA has delivered a masterclass in modern sports marketing, a case study in how to leverage a cultural moment for the benefit of an entire sport. Meanwhile, the WNBA has been handed a devastating and very public wake-up call, a lesson in what happens when hesitation and internal conflict override strategic opportunity. The contrast couldn't be more stark, playing out in real time for the entire world to witness. One league saw a rising tide and built a harbor to welcome it, understanding that this surge could lift every single boat in its fleet. The other saw the same historic tide and built a wall, a defensive move that has only served to highlight their fear of the very change that could save them. The footage from the Pro AM, filled with genuine smiles, heartfelt celebration, and a powerful sense of mutual respect, stands in shocking opposition to the reports of frustration, resentment, and a cascade of missed opportunities emanating from the basketball world. The question is no longer if the WNBA has a problem, but whether it possesses the institutional self-awareness and agility to fix it. Will they learn from their counterpart in golf, swallowing their pride to adopt a proven, successful strategy? Will they finally understand the fundamental economic truth that promoting a singular superstar doesn't diminish the league? It creates a gravitational pull that elevates everyone in its orbit, driving salaries, sponsorship deals, and media relevance to unprecedented heights. The future growth, relevance, and financial health of the entire WNBA may very well depend on the answer. This is more than a public relations dilemma. It's a crossroads moment that will define the league trajectory for the next decade. The ball is now unmistakably in their court. If you've made it this far, you've seen the full picture. Let us know in the comments. Do you think the WNBA will finally change its strategy, or has the moment already passed them by? What would you do if you were in charge? And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we'll be the first to tell you what happens next in this unfolding sports drama.